Let's hop into another CNN panel with Scott Jennings again showing his ass, this time trying to defend Trump for wanting to impeach judges who are attempting to, well, uphold the law. So hit the like button on this video, helps us out a lot, helps it grow, and let's get into the madness.
I am quite sure that some of these judges are dramatically overstepping their authority. And I think not just in the rulings that we talked about in the intro, but in other rulings, there are legitimate questions about whether the president's core constitutional functions are being impeded. I would hope that the Supreme Court would get involved in some of these questions sooner rather than later so that we can get some clarity here, because I think it's crazy to think that individual district court judges should be able to stop the president from shipping terrorists out of the country. Or even tonight, there's a ruling on the military saying the commander-in-chief of the military can't set standards for who can be in the military.
I love how vague MAGA is forced to be to make it seem like their points have some validity. It's not a judge ruling that Trump can't deport illegal immigrants. It's the judge upholding the Constitution in that persons in this country deserve due process. You can't say someone is a criminal and then deport them on those grounds without them having the right to a trial where they are proved or can proclaim their innocence. They're not blocking his power with the military. They're saying, hey, you can't discriminate based off immutable characteristics like gender identity or sexual orientation. Judges are appointed by our elected officials to represent our laws and constitution on a nonpartisan basis. However, Trump wants them replaced with MAGA loyalists, exactly how he's doing with every other part of our government right now.
I think some of these rulings are crazy. They put the national security of the United States in danger, and he needs to be allowed to operate as the president as the Constitution dictates.
I think the question in these cases is really whether the assertions the president is making are actually true, or whether they're doing what we've seen in other cases where they're rounding up people who have not committed any crime, who are not criminals in the United States, and sending those people to places they've never even lived before. So I kind of think it's actually reasonable in our system of constitutional democracy, which we hear so many lectures from Republicans about why the Constitution is so important.
Your administration let them all in. We're trying to get rid of them. I totally get why you're upset about it.
Yeah, I don't get how judges defending due process for all people in this country threatens national security. When you start saying rights only apply to certain people, you start getting the same justifications used for slavery. So I don't know if you want to go down that rabbit hole. Also, she makes a great point. We've seen U.S. citizens harassed by ICE, veterans nonetheless, now green card holders being detained, a 10-year-old with brain cancer was deported, a doctor, those on student visas here legally. He's wiping away temporary protected status. They admitted they're using tattoos to identify gang members. To say it's still about criminals is to just deny reality in your face. And for those who have committed no crimes, who have been here for years, to say Donald Trump has a right to ship them to some foreign country is insane. And even those who have committed crimes, or allegedly, right, they deserve their day in court like the rest of us where that is proved. We are not a country where your rights are determined by your status or some other arbitrary thing.
We're trying to protect our Constitution. So the judge makes a ruling. It could go to the appellate. It could go to the Supreme Court. And when that ruling comes down, people should follow the law, former presidents and current presidents. But it doesn't mean that the president gets to have an order by decree just because he was elected by a majority of Americans. He can govern, but we have three branches of government for a reason.
Exactly. Democrats are the only party for the Constitution. They are the only party of American values, the only party of democracy, while Republicans are quickly shifting from still being against those things, but like, small government, to now being an authoritarian dictatorship-like rule where the government should enforce its boot on the neck like power over things it doesn't like trans people and immigrants, because they deserve less rights than everyone else, and things they enjoy, like corporations taking advantage of workers, well, then that's where we'll do small government. This is a contrast that Democrats need to highlight. So one, people understand it's real and it's not this fringe thing that's just brought up in the election year, and then keep reminding them of it every single day that it exists, because the idea that Trump got a mandate when first he barely beat a candidate running on 100 days when he campaigned for 3 years is insane, especially when you're pretending it's a mandate to overstep the powers of the executive, ignore the judiciary, and take from congressional powers. Nobody wants this. People are literally rioting in the streets over it. Even Republicans are sounding off at their town halls. Veterans are upset. The demographic that almost religiously exclusively votes for conservatives, But yeah, keep pretending that less than 50% of the vote means it's all okay. Like, we would love to run on that as Democrats in 2026 and 2028. So keep it up, guys, really.